Welcome back. I'm feeling much better. My voice is much better. Thank you so much for all of the well wishes. Today, I wanted to talk about a riddle which you may have already encountered in meditation. And that's the riddle of going for something and yet being unattached. And it's such a difficult riddle to process sometimes. Sometimes you think, oh, I think I get that. I think I understand. And yet we still fall into the trap. So I'm going to talk about that today, how not to fall into the trap. And the way that I teach meditation, it just happens to be a wonderful way of enabling yourself not to fall into this particular trap. So let's get into it. So, first of all, we have in yoga, of all the philosophies that you could embrace, of all the religions that you could possibly embrace in your life, all of the smorgasbord of potentials that you have in front of you to go after your higher self, to go after answers inside of yourself, to go after a peaceful, tranquil state inside of yourself. Yoga just happens to be extremely practical and dynamic. So we go from philosophies which are very metaphysical. So they answer questions about the metaphysical universe. They say, here's an answer for you, and maybe you should just believe that. And yoga comes along and says, well, that's quite not quite good enough for me. I'm okay with believing things. You have to have certain kinds of beliefs in order for your life to function correctly. I'm okay with that. But I actually want to know. I actually want to experience for myself. And yoga says, well, here's a plan for you. Go ahead and do this heart rate variability resonance. Get yourself into the low idle state and encounter the four proofs, and you will get your own answers. So we have this path in front of us in yoga, which is potentially very, very dynamic and very, very practical. I remember one of the monks would always ask about something. Okay, that's great. What you're saying, that philosophical idea that you're saying, that's great. I love it. I love the sound of it. Now, where does the rubber meet the road? Okay, here's your car, but it's kind of floating up here in the space. How does it come down to earth, and how do I experience it? How do I see it? How do I encounter it in my life and make sure it's actually there? And that's a beautiful, beautiful yogic question. How does the rubber meet the road here? Okay, we got this airy fairy stuff, but where does it hit the pavement and run and work? And that's so beautiful about yoga. It works. It has to work for it to be yoga. If it's not working, it's not yoga. Because it has to manifest, right? And maybe it doesn't manifest today or tomorrow or the next day, but at some point it needs to begin to manifest for it to be yoga, because it's supposed to be a scientific, practical, dynamic approach to getting interior answers, right? So of all the possibilities, of all the religions, of all the philosophies, here we are with yoga. And we're like, let's do this thing, right? And then Lahiri Baba comes along and he tells his students, he says, while you're doing Kriya Yoga, don't look for the results of Kriya Yoga. And, okay, wait. We just showed up to the most practical place on earth. In terms of the interior search, we just showed up to the most practical place on earth, and you tell us to be non-attached? Are you kidding me? And this is often somebody will put down yoga for this. They'll say, well, yoga is too caught up in getting results and getting esoteric things, treats to the yogi. He wants this treat and he wants that treat and he wants this treat, right? It's way too concerned with that. And so I like Buddhism because we just let everything go. And there's some truth there. But it's because of the misunderstanding of how to pursue yoga. And it's this fundamental riddle which is inside of yoga. You've got this hugely practical path, and yet you're told to let go of everything. right? That's a real riddle. How do I do this? Okay, here I'm doing these very practical things, and then I'm supposed to just let go of the results. How does that work? Well, the answer is actually really quite simple when you see it in line with the two hemispheres of the brain, right? So we have a left brain, and the left brain is concerned with lists, it's concerned with words, it's concerned with doing the thing. And so it's very, very focused. And so you will see now the eyes are cross connected, right? So my right eye is connected to my left brain, and my left eye is connected to my right brain. Okay? So you see the hen that's going to pick the seed, or any bird that's going to pick the seed, and to look at it with their right eye. I'm going to pick that seed. So they turn their whole face. It's so cool to watch, right? They turn their eye and they see that seed, and I'm going to peck at it, right? That's how they do it. And they're working with their left brain, and you can see it in action in the way they look at things. It's like, I'm going to get that thing. I'm going to get that seed right there. And then they turn to peck at it, right? First, they got to look at it really hard with that left brain. That's the left brain in action. And it makes us a predator, right? Go for one thing. The tip of the spear, we become that. We become the tip of the spear. And we have to have this for our daily lives, or we would just be a mess, right? We would just kind of wander around like this, and we'd never get anything done. So we need this practical list. It's our very good friend during the day. And then we become a yogi. It's like, well, here's my to-do, and here's my to-do, and here's my to-do. And it feels like it's this, right? And some of it is. A lot of it is. It's like, I've got to concentrate on the breath. I've got to lower my breath rate. That's not quite, but it's kind of a little bit of a focus there, right? I've got to focus on one chakra at a time. I'm going to chant mental ohms into that one chakra at a time, right? So all of that requires some of that left brain focus. At the same time, Lahiri Mashaya is saying, well, at the same time, I would like you to let go. And that's the right brain. Because when you come into, if you're watching the sunset, you come into the sunset and it hits you. When it just hits you at the very beginning, and you just go, and you go, whoa. That sense of awe, that whoa-ness inside of you, that's your right brain operating in that moment. It's really taking over when you watch just something gorgeous. Or like you see a little baby, and all of you just goes, oh. And you just kind of, the whole world evaporates, and you're just in that one thing, right? And that's that opening up, that expansion of the right brain, the right hippocampus specifically, okay? And so he's saying, I want you to do these actions, right? Lower the breath rate, which is going to concurrently lower the heart rate, right? So now we're getting into a low idle state through heart rate variability resonance, right? And then because of that, everything goes down. The brain responds to the low idle state in the body, and it gets a little bit slow. It slows down as well. So now we're in this very tranquil state, and maybe we see the spiritual eye. It's like, I gotta grab that thing. That's the left brain. I gotta grab that spiritual eye. But that's the mistake, okay? That's the mistake. That's the left grasping brain. Instead, we want to be in that state of awe, which is, whoa, right? And so that's the opening up. So one of the ways that we can adopt that attitude is by doing hakala while you stare at the spiritual eye. So I'm looking at the spiritual eye, but really my eyes are dilated. All right, how do we do hakala? Do you guys remember? Hakala saved my life. That's a great video. It's a great story about two brothers hiking, how it saved their life, one of them. So when you look at one point slightly above at eye level, try it out. And then while you're looking at that one point, become aware of everything on the sides, everything in your peripheral, everything on the left wall, everything on the right wall, everything on the left, everything on the right, everything. Take it all in. And your eyes will dilate, okay? You will cause your eyes to dilate, to get bigger. And you will take everything in. And it's so powerful. I was just on the phone with somebody that said, and they're doing really well with this system I'm teaching. they've barely begun and they're already getting in the tranquil breath every single time they sit to meditate. And they said, I think the reason that I'm being so successful with this is I've done so much hakala. It's really my go-to technique all day. And so they're practicing meditation all day. So of course you're going to go really fast. You're going to go do really wonderfully deep with that kind of a practice, right? And so this is really powerful. And now we're adopting that attitude inside of ourselves of, whoa. And it's so simple, right? It's just, whoa, man. Just a beautiful, every single beautiful sunset, every single beautiful sunrise, we will adopt that state. You go into the country and you see this beautiful scene, and you feel yourself spread out. That's you entering into the right brain temporarily. And it's that sense of awe that we want in meditation, in the deep part. After you finish some heart rate variability resonance, and after you finish some Om Japa in the chakras, and you're just sitting there enjoying, find yourself, find that awe inside of you. If you see the spiritual eye, find that awe inside of you. If you hear the sound we talked about last week, find that awe inside of you, that sense of, whoa, oh my goodness, this moment is amazing. And you will induce more of the right brain, which will make you more quiet inside of yourself, more tranquil and more expansive and open to that glorious moment that we're embracing. So this whole riddle of how do I do but let go, it's really about entering into the right brain, isn't it? It's about not being a predator. It's like, I got to get this and I got to get that and I got to get this in my meditations. I have to have all these things. And it's that grasping nature which will become your enemy. So you will defeat yourself. And it's the same if you pursue anything in your life. It's like you can go after something and you can go after something and you can go after something. But if you become too obsessed and too manic, then your own tension will get in your way, of course, right? Because a lot of things in our life, to make them work correctly, we have to flow in the moment. Same thing in meditation. After we finish with some proactive steps, it's a good time to let go and be. Doobie-doobie-doo, right? So try that on. The other thing that will help with this idea is just repetition. So we go into meditation, we get this result. We go into meditation, we get this result. We go into meditation, we get this result. You know what? I'm happy with all of those results. And that just the repetition of doing the meditation over and over again, not too long, just a nice, easy session which feels comfortable and good for you. It doesn't have to be hours of meditation, just a little meditation each day. Just use the resonant breathing app. Set it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever's comfortable for you. Let it fade away so you can just let go at the end, right? Use the fade button. That's what that's for. It's a really wonderful way to just do something proactive and then let go. The other thing that helps is the way that I teach. So I talked to you about the 4 proofs. You can have any of the 4 proofs. You can have the hands hot and heavy. You can have the lips tingling. You can feel the pressure of the dorsal vagal complex. You can feel the tingling in the skin as you're sitting very still, right? You can look for the 5 breath states, right? That's another thing. You can look for the tranquil breath, the freeze response, and the roll up. You can look for a smorgasbord of things inside of you and be joyous and happy at any single one of them, because they're all big, they're all beautiful, and they're all huge, and they're very, very simple, right? So we're giving you this freedom of letting go by setting you up for success. So if you come in with heart rate variability resonance and you get a proof, you're done. You've fulfilled the meditation. It's a fantastic meditation. I'm talking, like a 20-year meditator or a 40-year meditator. You do that, and you can surpass some people that don't have this particular system and have been kind of wandering around lost in their way because they didn't have a clear idea of what they were trying to accomplish. So you have that, right? You have that very clear setup for success, that you know what you want to accomplish. I want to lower my breath rate, which is going to lower my heart rate, which is going to put me into the low idle state, which is going to put my mind into tranquility automatically. It might not be perfect. We're not looking for perfection here. You know, my hands are only warm, Forrest. They're not hot. That's totally great. We're not looking for perfection. Who was it? Voltaire. He said, perfection is the enemy of good enough. So good enough is the meditation we're looking for. And you build on that success, and that success builds on the next success, and that success builds on the next success. And all of it just overwhelms you to the point where you go, you know, I'm having this, and I'm having bliss, and I had joy, and I had this experience, and I had the hands hot and heavy every single time. And that success helps you to let go. And so now you're in the perfect place where you're doing the kriya, you're doing the action of meditation. I'm doing the heart rate variability resonant breathing. I'm focusing on the breath. I'm focusing on one chakra and doing Om Japa into that one of those 6 chakras specifically. And then I just let go. Because now I have the hands hot and heavy, and I just, okay, now I can let go. Or maybe I have the tranquil breath, the freeze response, and the roll up, and now I'm just going to let go into expansion, right? That's why he's saying it. Because if we become manic, then we are the predator. We are the left brain, and we're defeating ourselves. We're defeating the deeper level of our meditation. And so don't fall into that trap. And just let go. And doobie-doobie-doo. Easy, right? So easy. But if it isn't explained correctly, well, then we can easily lose it as well. So I hope that you loved this. I hope it was relevant for you. Thanks again to everybody and all of your well wishes. If you love this, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.